very few stories I'm going to report on tonight because my main focus is going to be on giving you the update of what's coming out of the national headlines in Paris, France. What do we know so far, and what are the latest updates? We know that there was an attack in multiple locations. They stated at the very beginning that there were explosive used and some kind of firearms or weapons. Kalashnikov was being reported. I haven't seen a picture of any weapon that was retrieved from any of these incidents yet, so I don't know. Is that just speculation? What kind of weapon was used? I don't know. Now, what they're stating is that there were multiple locations hit with explosives. People were shot in different locations. That one of the concerts were an American band called Eagles Death Metal Band. I do believe that's the name. There was a hostage situation at that center where the concert was going on. Police stormed that location. There was reports that from the inside, as a matter of fact, it was a reporter right there from France, claimed that he was inside there and they were tossing explosive devices at people in the concert location. When the police stormed the place, this is where the conflicting reports are coming in. There is being stated that officers actually killed some of these attackers, killing 3 of the attackers, while other people are stating that these attackers had suicide belts on and detonated themselves once the police made entry. Now, just to give you a quick update on, this is coming from Francois Molins, the public prosecutor for Paris. He has told reporters that the death toll in the attacks are as high as 120, but I do believe we're getting reports, and rightly so, this is a chaotic situation, that it could be as high as 160 or more. But this was a report from earlier, so at that time he was saying 120. At least 5 of the attackers were killed as well. He called the death toll extremely heavy. Francois Holland, who was there at the location of where the football game, or the soccer game, as we call it here in the United States, was going on between Germany and France, he was evacuated to a secure location. Now, he came out after that and put the whole city of Paris on lockdown to prevent any of the attackers from escape. And he's also stated that there will be they're not going to go soft on them. This is more like going to be, and they're going to be taken out, executed, no trials. That's the way he made it sound like in his speeches regarding this incident. So where do we know of the locations of where all of this went down? He said the terrorist had struck 6 sites: Stade de France, Rue des Charons, 18 died there. Boulevard Voltaire, 1 died there. Rue Fontaine-Leroy, 5 died there. Rue Alibert, 14 died there. And Bataclan, a live music venue. We are going to try to determine what happened, determine what the profiles of these terrorists are, find out what their course of action was, find out if there are still accomplices or co-attackers at large. And that is why Francois Holland has locked down the city. Now, it's interesting to me that President Obama came out and it's too early to determine exactly who was behind this. Well, if that's the case, then it was too early for you to come out and even make a statement without even conferring with the president of France yet. So you come out and, I just want to tell everybody, we can see the news there, dude. We don't need you to come out and tell us how your heart is heavy and all that. How about you just not say anything about, downplaying the terrorism whatsoever? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like it was a kind of a preemptive move to downplay what could be coming out. I don't know. It just seemed like that to me, and I just wanted to share that with you. That is the latest news. You can see all the pictures I'm sharing with you right here. I'm going to leave all of the links for all of the different locations. You can see all of the different footage that's going on. The ambulances, there's bodies by the cafe. There is a huge police presence all throughout the city. And there's also, there was earlier, I did have for a brief moment Paris webcams from off some of the webcam sites where you could see them locking down the city. Unfortunately, I did not get my screen recorder out in time to get all of that. But if you keep tabs on the different webcam sites, you might see some activity going on there. I will leave some links for those in the description box as well, so you guys can keep tabs on that. All right? Thanks. Now, I have a story coming out of Germany, Berlin, as a matter of fact, and I have the translated piece right here. It's a pretty huge story, but because the translation is such broken English, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what it says, but I'm going to leave you the link so you can check it out for yourself. There is a suggestion going on with the Senate right there in Berlin that the police shall be granted authorization to enter private homes to house refugees even against the will of the owner. And then it goes on to state in the article, will there soon be police controls in order to control the vacancy of dwellings and real estate? There is a proposal, and it apparently is coming from Berlin's governing mayor, Michael Müller, who is proposing this action. So I would not be surprised if we see some really outrageous things going on when that happens. There's very limited details about a murder-suicide that took place in Jacksonville, Florida. According to the sheriff's office, they are reporting that 5 people were shot, 4 fatally. 1 is in surgery with life-threatening injuries. The shooter in this instance is indeed dead in this murder-suicide, and they state that children were among the victims in this Ocean Way, Florida shooting. Now, it all stemmed from some kind of domestic dispute, they're saying, early Friday afternoon, and the victims have not been identified as next of kin. Notifications have not been made. You know, out of the 5 Walmart stores that closed down back in April, 2 of them have opened back up. One of them, Pico Rivera, and the other latest one is the Livingston, Texas. Now, for you all who don't recall exactly what this is all about, the Walmart announced the closures of 5 stores due to some kind of plumbing issues. I still am maintaining my same position. I have not seen any proof that there were any permits issued to repair this plumbing that they claimed needed to be fixed. 2, I still cannot figure out why you would restock all of your perishable foods the day before on a Sunday, and then on a Monday you would close it down, all 5 stores, and lose all of that money after you had to sell it at 50% off. And I'm still going to maintain and ask, did they make some kind of internal modifications to the stores that can be used at some point in a later date? Just going to still hold to that until they can prove to me otherwise. You know, not sure if this is going to become an epidemic, but I just reported a couple days ago about a man who jumped from a cruise ship and took his own life, and is being claimed by his family's attorney that it was all over homosexual slurs that were made towards him, and he decided to take his own life behind that. Well, there was a woman who was on a chartered cruise liner ship, some kind of dance party, and several sources are saying that she fell from the cruise ship, but the main majority of them are saying that she intentionally jumped. Now, they don't say why. They didn't give what her identity was. They do state that it was near Cuba that she jumped, and that rescue helicopters were sent to look for the woman shortly after she jumped, but I do believe at this point they still have not located her body. Now, here's some of the news that you may have missed while your attention was focused over in Paris, France. 2 high school students in Sacramento, California were fired upon, and one of them has been killed, and the other one is seriously injured. Now, according to this, 2 seniors were in a car near Maple Street and Silver Eagle Road just before 4 p.m. when someone drove by them and opened fire. The victims then drove to Grant Union High School for help. The staff members at the school helped the students and called emergency officials. Twin Rivers School District officials are stating. Both were taken to a nearby hospital. One died. The second student is being treated for serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Friday night's football game between Grant and Bayer High School of Modesto was immediately canceled after reports of the shooting. Here's a couple additional stories to go along with the attack in Paris, France. Al Gore, who was there in Paris at the time this attack took place, says he is suspending the broadcast of an event he was holding there. Out of solidarity with the French people in the city of Paris, he is going to suspend that broadcast of 24 Hours of Reality and Live Earth. No indication of when he may pick that broadcast back up. Here in Washington, D.C., Capitol Police are being assigned to protect locations French-related, the French Embassy and other locations. Now, they've come out and stated that there is no indication that there is any viable threat that is going to take place in Washington, D.C. It is only being done out of overabundance of precaution. The rock band U2 has postponed its Saturday night concert that they were going to have in Paris that was going to be televised through HBO. And until this situation gets resolved and everything gets cleared up, it is going to be suspended until all that is resolved. So just thought I'd let you guys know all of those stories. Well, here's something that you don't see every day. Well, yesterday, it did happen. A car was driving under the speed limit, and it got pulled over. Well, can you imagine when the officer approaches the vehicle to give out a ticket for going too slow, and he finds that there's no driver? Yeah, that's because it was a Google self-driving car. There was a passenger, and needless to say, there was no ticket given out for going under the speed limit. This took place in Mountain View, California, and the police officer saw traffic backing up in the eastbound lane of El Camino Real. This is according to the San Jose Mercury News. Investigating, he found a Google autonomous vehicle driving 24 miles per hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. Here's something pretty interesting. Well, an angry woman, a mother, confronts the father of Katy Perry, who happens to be a Christian evangelist. Well, she confronted him and said, "Your daughter is taking millions of people to hell, and your daughter is a wicked person." And, well, Hudson, who runs a ministry alongside his wife, Mary, responded to the woman who questioned his ability to be a Christian leader by noting that he ministers all over the world. Well, then minister to your daughter, she says, because that is needed more than ever. You ought to know better when you have a girl that walks with Satan the way she does. Yes, indeed.